All right, I got the Lyman bore guide in here. I'm just going to show you guys how it works. You turn this on, and then it's blinking. That means I need to pair it with my phone. But if I pair it with the phone, I can't do the double video. This is the brightness, and this is if I want to take a photo. I typically, after it's been cleaned, there's three brightnesses. There's really bright, medium, and low bright. I usually do it on medium or low. Chrome line barrel, freshly cleaned, is going to be really shiny. And then I can kind of tell where the you want to put this part up, and then when you tighten it down, I don't tighten it quite all the way down, but I generally want it most of the way, and that's kind of the best as far as being in focus. But that's your focus. This is the same as a Teflon bore scope. Looks like the same company built this shaft, and this is a little mirror. Okay, the Lyman bore scope is inside the barrel. This is the FN 18-inch cold hammer forged 223 or 556 barrel. We're going to start at the crown there, which is the end of the bore, and we're going to go to the gas port. This gas port is approximately 0.092 or 0.093, which is about right for an 18-inch rifle length barrel. And you can see there's some powder and maybe some burrs there. Don't know for sure what they are, but those need to get cleaned up. I'm going to go back down towards where the rifling starts at the and where the lands start, where the bullet will enter the barrel. That's where everything is the dirtiest, right by the chamber. You can see this barrel's probably been shot a few test fires, and it hasn't been properly cleaned, but that's the way most barrels come. You're going to get some, as you see, as you get close to the end, you're going to get some more grit and pieces of stuff in here you need to get out. So we're giving it a quick inspection. I'm going to pull out my cleaning stuff and give it a good cleaning. Okay, we're back on the FN barrel. It needs to be cleaned before it's shot. I did a bore scope with it. I'll show you in the video what the bore scope looks like on a brand new barrel. It's been obviously test shot a few times, so there's a little bit of copper, a little bit of carbon in there. I'm not super happy with in here where the gas port is. Seems to be a few burrs inside. I'm going to see if I can buff that out a little bit, but if I can't, I'm going to take it apart and we're going to grind on it with a deburring tool. I'll run a wet patch down it. You can see that's just the wet patch. Flip it around. This is just Vortex Eliminator. Now we're going to switch over to a brush. I'm going to put the brush in there. I like to put the solvent down here. A little catch basin is way better. Otherwise you fill this up with solvent. I'm going to stroke this maybe 20 some passes. Put a little more solvent down there. This is actually a stainless steel brush. Normally I just use a bronze brush. The stainless steel is really good if you get a barrel like this that has those burrs in it. I don't want to use stainless steel or bronze with abrasives, but I will use it like this. And this is a chrome line barrel, so I'll bore scope it, but I've never seen it hurt them at all. So there we go. Now there's already a bunch of solvent in the barrel, so I'm going to take a patch that has JB bore paste on it. And I'm going to short stroke it throughout the barrel, especially at the beginning. There was a little bit of carbon and stuff at the beginning because it had been shot. As I go down the barrel, I can usually feel, there it is, I can feel it. When I can feel the gas port, that's where I know I need to short stroke it in there. Sometimes I can get those burrs off doing this. Unfortunately, as big as one or two of them are, I might need to use a Dremel, and I'll show you guys how to do that. So I'll go out the end of the barrel, You can see they're always dirty when you do that because it's taking off, it's polishing the metal and it's taking off the junk that's in the barrel. So every time I come out, I wipe it off, put a clean patch on, little Vortex eliminator. You can use most any solvent. I like Vortex. Doesn't stink so much, not hard on your hands. So I'll push this through. You can get an idea. Still a bunch of stuff in there. Pushes the junk out. Because if I'm going to use that brush on there, I don't want any abrasives on there. Push the brush in once more. It was feeling better after I stroked it a few times, but I could still feel that gas port bump in there. When everything is polished up nice and the barrel's broken, you can't feel the gas port normally. And you can, generally the bronze brush or a nylon brush in between the paste is good. I call it an abrasive, some people call it a paste, same idea. So we're going to push one more wet patch through there. See what we got out with that brush. But this barrel has definitely been shot, I'm going to say, at least 5 times, I would guess. Maybe more. You can see the patches are never really clean after you've used a brush on it. It's always taking something out. Push that through. I'll do one more abrasive patch. Same thing, go in. I usually go in at least 5 or 6 inches and kind of set the patch. And then I pull it back to where I can just feel it entering the chamber. The throat chamber right there. And then I start short stroking it. When a barrel is new, it'll want to start to get a carbon ring right there, especially like on a bigger gun like a 7 PRC. I've seen them on the 223s, but not as much, more likely a 6 arc. But if you short stroke right in there, and then you come down, now I'm looking for the gas port. I can still feel that gas port. I don't know if you can see, it kind of jerks a little bit. It's better, but I don't think this is going to get that burr off where the gas port is. Now what I'm going to do is run a patch, wet patch down with some Vortex on it. Push that abrasives out of there. I'm not going to use the brush again. I always flip it around, try and use the patch as much as I can. Stick that down in there. Now I'm going to go grab a tool and clean the chamber and then dry it out, and then I'm going to bore scope it and show you guys what the bore scope looks like after the cleaning process. I'm going to show what it looks like after I've cleaned it. You'll see what the burrs are. The other thing I did is I always take the compressed air and I go up in here to the gas tube and I blow out any of the cleaning solvent that I had, and definitely the paste that gets in there. So now it'll be very clean. I ran a few more dry patches down it. So we'll see what it looks like. That was 2 patches with two series with a stainless steel brush, and 2 series with the abrasives, and then cleaning in between with a wet patch. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, this is the same barrel, the FN 556 18-inch cold hammer forged. You can see we started at the crown again. Everything's much cleaner. I'm actually setting the brightness on the lowest setting. There's 3 settings on this Lyman bore scope. You can see the gas port hole, which is, again is a 0.092, 0.093 is clean. I guess I was a little worried about the burrs, and there don't seem to be burrs in there. So a good idea in the future is to inspect the bore before you put it together. But I just didn't think it would be any burrs, and it looks like there's not. So we're going back down towards where the chamber is. We're going to inspect all the rifling lands. You can see that I use a stainless steel brush and the polishing compound. I used 2 series of each, and you can see it didn't damage the bore. There's no scratches in there. In fact, the scratches that were in there and the particles are all clean now. The bore is much better. That's why you don't want to shoot a bore when it's brand new without cleaning it. You want to make sure you bore scope it. And you can see the start of the rifling is nice. It's a nice smooth transition. The rifling seems to be pretty close to the same length. I'm guessing this rifle will shoot pretty well. Everything's been cleaned and dried and is ready to take to the range. Very happy with the barrel.